Hi, Moms.
Hi, Moms.
Hi, Moms.
We are here with Rachel Holton. My glasses are fogging up. She is one of the moms that we're supporting for Adoption Month. And y'all have heard a little bit of her story, but her story is incredible. And so we wanted to interview her. You want to tell them where we are right now?
We're on a youth retreat, and Rachel's husband came, and he's doing the worship for us. And my husband's a youth minister, and Suzanne and her family have come to volunteer to just hang out with teenagers for the weekend.
Right, which is awesome.
And it's really cold, so we're all bundled up.
So, okay, she has a really crazy story, and I told her we wanted to start at the beginning. So, you got married.
Mm-hmm.
Young.
Yes.
Very young. Yeah.
How old were you?
I just turned 20, a month after I turned 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just tell us what happened.
So, my husband and I got married in June of 2015, and we were still in school. I was going into my junior year, and he was going into his senior year. And we were not trying to have kids at all. If it were up to me, I probably would have said, yes, let's have babies, like, immediately.
She most definitely did.
But it wasn't the plan, by any means. And
Finish school.
we wanted to finish school. We had this, 5-year plan. It's gonna, maybe in 5 years we'll talk about it. That was Kyle's 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And so we went back to school in August, and the short way for me to explain this is I was on birth control, just normal birth control pills, and they started giving me heart issues. And so my doctor said, stop taking the medication, come in, get some blood work done. And so I did, and I went back to go get the results from my blood work, and my doctor said, you have something called a prothrombin gene mutation. It is a blood clotting disorder that it only affects me when I'm pregnant. So
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So there's two kinds. There's factor 5 and factor 2, and factor 5 is more, I would say it's more common. More people have less pregnancy issues with factor 5, and then there's factor 2, which is what I have. So my doctor said to me, you should never consider getting pregnant because it will kill you and it would kill your baby. So that was devastating.
Yeah.
Very devastating.
That was really hard.
Kyle was not there at the doctor's appointment with me that day.
Oh.
And so when he came home, I had to tell him all these things that the doctor said, and
then come next door and tell me.
And tell Corey and Addison.
Yeah, they live next door to each other at that point.
That night, we went and told them, and that was heartbreaking, to say the least.
Right.
Devastating. In my mind, I remember talking to Kyle and saying, what is my purpose of living if I can't be a mother? And that was excruciating because I had always known I wanted to be a mom. I didn't care if I never got a degree, if I never was a millionaire, I don't care. But I want to be a mom, and that was it.
Right.
So we walked through 2 of the hardest weeks of my life. And 2 weeks later, we found out that I was pregnant. We weren't even trying. Nothing expected.
Also terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. So for the next 9 months, we walked through our pregnancy, which was, I'll always say, Aslan is our miracle baby. My chances of miscarriage can last throughout the day that I deliver. So even on the day that we had Aslan, doctors were anxious about it, and that risk just never went away. So the fact that we delivered a perfectly healthy baby boy in August of 2016 was unreal. So...
And during your pregnancy, you had to do shots.
Yes, so I took every day of my pregnancy. I wasn't high risk unless I became high risk, if that makes sense. But I took blood thinning shots in my stomach every day.
She's black and blue.
Black and blue. So I don't have all the pretty, belly pictures that some people like to take.
No.
I have, 2 pictures on my phone of what my belly looked like, and it's not pretty. Very painful. They burn when they go in, and I would cry every day that I had to take these shots. It's not fun. And then I had to take them for 6 weeks after, so almost a year of taking shots. But that's the price to pay.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was our story for having Aslan.
Right, and Aslan is awesome. We have met him. He is on this youth retreat, chilling with some teenagers and being awesome. I need to get a picture to show everybody of him.
Yes.
Okay, so then what? I mean, you decided...
So then, when I tell this story, oh man, I could just cry when I tell this because it's really emotional for me. But A few weeks after Aslan was born, he was probably 6 weeks old. Your hormones are like trying to get back into balance.
Right.
And you cry at everything. And I had this new baby, and we didn't live with family. We were far from home because we lived in Louisiana at the time when we delivered him. I was standing in our bedroom rocking my baby, and I remember telling Kyle that my prayer that day was, God, if this is the only baby that you ever give me, please let him be enough.
Yeah.
And I have had to remind myself of that daily for years now. Not to say that my life would be, I don't want to say my life would be incomplete without another child or anything like that, but I just knew that I had more love in my heart to give to another child. And I didn't know what form that would come in, if we would biologically have more kids, if we would adopt, if we would foster. But I knew that there was more to growing our family than just having one biological pregnancy. So we prayed about it. For a while, I didn't know if we wanted to have any more kids because going through pregnancy was really hard for me. It's not easy having to do all the shots and all the doctor's appointments. I mean, doctor's appointments are fine, but when you go in with anxiety every time you go to an appointment, it's a big deal. So we, about a year after Aslan was born, we had moved again to North Carolina, where we are now. We absolutely love it. And I told Kyle I was ready to get pregnant again. And so it was just a decision that we talked about, and we were both kind of apprehensive about it just because of all the risks that come with that. And I already had this precious baby that God entrusted me that he wants me to take care of. So we tried getting pregnant. I did the things that you have to do to try to get pregnant. And we tried from October until March and had no luck, which is fine. It was just 6 months. It wasn't long. But during that time, I felt like God was pointing me in a different direction. And adoption has always been very near and dear to me. I am partially adopted by my dad. I have grown up with my biological mom my whole life, but a different dad who adopted me when I was 5 years old. So that's always been near and dear to me. Kyle's baby sister was adopted in 2017. She's crazy. We love her. Charlotte, she's the best. So at first, when we first started the adoption process, it was a means to an end to have a baby. And over the last year, 2 years, 2.5 years, however long we've been trying to have a baby for, since 2017, so a little over 2 years, God has taken adoption and placed it on our hearts, and it has torn us down and refined us and made us into something that we never expected. And at first it was a checklist to say, you know, you do your home study, you raise the money, you get matched with a mom, bring baby home, and that's the end of the story. And that's just not the case. That's not the case with adoption. Sometimes it works that way for some people. For us, that has not been our story.
Right.
So, yeah.
So,
It's a lot.
you have been matched.
Yes.
How many times?
We have technically been matched, whether it was through a personal connection or a consulting agency or an attorney, 4 times. This is our 5th match, by the way. We are on our 5th match. Yeah.
You're matched.
Yes, we are matched.
Does everyone know that?
No.
What?
No, we're matched.
Oh my goodness.
It's so exciting.
That's
so we haven't
so
posted
great.
it to social media yet, but we're matched. And I can talk more about that too.
Okay.
So we've been matched several times in the adoption community. It is rare. Okay, failed matches are not rare. I'll say that.
Yeah.
To have multiple failed matches is very rare.
Okay.
So I can talk about those more if you want to.
Yeah.
So we were matched last August. There was a baby who, there was a mom who needed to be, she chose to place her child for adoption. We put our name in there and she said, congratulations, we've chosen you, through like the in-between person talking from mom to her to me. Baby girl was due in 2 weeks, and we got everything ready that we needed. We had attorneys lined up. Practically checks were laid out on the table to say this one goes to this person and this one goes to this attorney. And we got the diaper bag. We went and bought girl clothes, everything, because I have a boy, so I had no girl stuff at the time.
Emergency Target run.
Exactly. So, the long story short with that is we got a message one day from the go-between about a week after we got matched. And she said, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. And we said, okay, what's the good news? And she said, good news is baby girl was born over the weekend, perfectly healthy, perfect baby. The bad news is while she was in the hospital, she decided to choose another family and sent the baby home with another family. So that was absolutely the most devastating thing that I have ever experienced.
And the second and third and fourth time,
Yes.
did the mom choose another family?
No, so that happened. So the first one happened in September.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, we thought the first one was a fluke. The second one's going to happen, right?
Right.
We got a call from an attorney that we had been working with saying there's a mom in Wisconsin due, and we didn't know the gender, but baby was due in 2 weeks.
That's
also
the lunch bell, by the way. Sorry. Sorry.
She changed her mind 2
Yeah.
weeks into it. Changed her mind, decided to parent. Side note, just to go along with that.
Yeah.
When a mom decides to parent, that is the absolute best thing that she could choose to do if that's what she chooses to do. It's taken us a long time to get to that point
Yeah,
to say
it doesn't make it any less hard
no,
for
because
you.
we're heartbroken. We prepare for these babies or these children, whatever age, to come home, and when mom chooses to parent, we're obviously left empty-handed, but we rejoice in the fact that she's going to parent her baby.
Right.
She gets to experience what I get to experience with Aslan. Me and my husband get to have on a day-to-day basis, and I can't ask for anything more. But that's also a lot of heartache.
Right.
It's a lot of sadness. So that baby was due. We found it about the baby in March, the end of March. Baby was due in April. Changed her mind. May rolls around, and I have a friend who worked at a rehab facility, and there was a woman there who wanted to place her baby girl for adoption, and my friend reached out to me and said, do you have anything I can show her? So we make something called a profile book, where it explains everything about our family. This is who we are, this is what we like to do,
Right.
this is what we believe in, our family values.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of those.
Yes, which
Takes forever to do.
takes a long time. You got to get pictures made and
Right.
write everything as best as you can to explain your family.
Right.
But without trying to sell your perfect self.
Right.
We want them to see the authentic side of us.
Right.
So she showed this girl our profile book, and the girl chose us. And we were told that when she would get out of rehab, she would call us. And she never called us. So that happened in May. And then for every one of these that happens, our hope just kind of plummets a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, because you start to think, am I ever going to get chosen?
Right.
Are we cut out for this? What is God's will in all of this?
Right.
Because I don't believe that God's will is to break apart another family so that mine can be built.
Right.
So we had to kind of take a step back and ask ourselves, what are we doing and why are we doing it?
Right.
So the more that we dive into adoption, it's not about having a baby. It should have never been about having a baby. It's about walking through a very difficult circumstance with a woman or a woman and a man and loving them as hard as you can and supporting them no matter what they choose in the end.
Bye, moms.
Bye, Moms.
Bye, Mom.